So my 4 years in Green Bay were a train wreck. And there wasn't, a single day in Green Bay where I was like stone cold sober. It was either some kind of a pill in me, anything that would alter me from the chin up, right, in my brain, where I was drinking or I was doing something. Now, that doesn't mean I was sloppy down, falling down, drunk drinking, but I would need a drink to stop the shakes and then go to practice.
Wow.
Right. Well, it's kind of hard to pass block in the NFL,
Yeah,
period,
sure.
let alone when you're half in the bag.
Yeah.
So, looking back at a lot of those things and going through all that pain, like I got into so much emotional pain, I was sick and tired of my own bullshit.
Oh man, that's
right.
It's exactly where I'm at right now. I'm just tired of myself.
That's when we change.
Sick of yourself.
Right.
Like literally, people are like, "What are you on?" And you're like, "I'm on myself."
Right.
And it's fucking killing me.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand sometimes, and that's a lot of what I think addiction is for me. I don't even know sometimes if I've ever had a lot of chemical dependency as much as the way I'm feeling affects me so heavily,
Right.
like it's a drug, to the point where it's like, and then I become addicted to it,
Right.
and at the same time suffering from it.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes can't understand some of that, like what it's like to feel that way.
You're right.
And they're like, you're a wimp or you're this, man, it's like, you think I want to feel this way every day when I wake up. You think I want to be angry or be miserable or, no, this is something is happening to me and it's hard to handle.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, listen, it's like, again, are you following me around? Because you're telling me my story, right? It's exactly how I feel. And I don't feel, I still get definitely times like that, but less and less.
Yeah.
And it'll change. And I've been, over 25 years now, almost 26 years sober. And
wow.
But you know what? Like the first 3 years were like, just like, you could have cut me off. You could have robbed me. I would have been like, all right, here you go. Cool. Have a good day. I was so happy not to be miserable.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the beginning of sobriety, when you're like, when something happens as a perspective switch in the way you see in the world and the way that it really is.
Yeah.
God, bro.
Yeah, it literally, like you talked about the 4 or 5 days or 2 weeks before you took the steroids. You never thought you would take steroids. 4 days before I got sober, I never thought I'd be in a treatment center 4 days later.
Wow.
And that was a decision I made.
Right.
And because of the emotional pain. And I was just looking in the mirror disgusted at what I saw. And I was like, what a bunch of bullshit and lies and deceit and
it just gets so hard. You stack up so much stuff, it's just too heavy.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, you had so much weight on your body, like so much, and it was like, but then you get this relief of all of this fucking weight.
Crazy, isn't it?
Which is just almost so ironic in your
It's crazy
in your space.
But in today, like you talk about, like today's circumstance, when I do feel the way, like, if I feel I have a shitty day or it's like I'm sabotaging myself or whatever, I know why. It's because I'm not connected. I'm not either talking to people or I haven't, like, for me, I haven't hit my knees in the morning and asked for help. Well, I think that this is a powerful thing. When you're 6'5", like now, 6'5", 265, whatever, when you hit your knees and you are praying to the God of your belief and asking for help through the day and asking about what you can add to the stream of life instead of sucking out of the stream of life for a change, that's a pretty humbling experience when you're that big a stature. So, I was doing that when I was 6'6", playing for the Colts at 6'6", 315, 320, strong as an ox. And it's a very humbling experience knowing how powerful you are.
Right.
And I could make stuff happen. Like I can make things happen by the old phrase, just grab the bull by the horns, just make it happen. If you got to step on people's toes, do it. Just make it happen. It's like, I don't care how you got to block this guy. Just don't get a penalty and block him. I don't care if you got to take his knees out, whatever, right? It's like, go to any lengths to protect your quarterback. So it's kind of like that, but it's like, it's when you have that stature, that size, that power, and you're in the weight room slinging weight around and all this. But in the morning, when you get on your knees and ask for help, it's a humbling act.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's basically saying, I can't do this by myself. I tried and almost killed myself.
Yeah.
Almost killed myself trying.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget when I'm in the treatment center in Detroit and it was no fancy treatment center.
So this was the first time you ever went into treatment.
First time ever.
So you went in and got it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it again.
Right. Yeah. Okay, take us there.
No, the lady counselor. It was our first like small 10 people session with a counselor, and it was all our first time with this meeting. And she goes, so before we start, she's like, and this isn't pointing anybody out. She's like, this applies to everybody. She's like, just before we start, I just want you all to know that all of your best plans of building your empires and building everything got you here in this treatment center in Detroit, Michigan. And I can see I-90 or whatever it is going by the interstate. I'm going, she's right. And I was like talking about a Louisville Slugger coming across your forehead going, holy shit.
That reality. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, funny now wasn't funny then.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think of some of those first moments that, whenever I went into the rooms, because mostly I learned about recovery through my family. I have siblings that are, in and out or been in the program, and probably my father. I mean, I think so many people struggle with addiction to different things.
Yeah.
But I remember I drove through the parking lot one night of a room that's not far from where I live, and I was talking to my brother or something the next day, and he said, well, you know who's not thinking about getting treatment? And I said, who? He goes, people that aren't driving through that parking. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's driving through the parking lot of an AA center last night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something inside of you that's curious, that's thinking and I think sometimes it is. There's a magnet that's created by that program. Last night I went to a meeting and I went over to a buddy's house and I got there and I hadn't been in probably like 3 months to his meeting, and it's just like 6 or 7 guys sitting outside by a fire.
Right.
And I get there and suddenly I walked around the group and just hugged like every guy there. I know them all.
Right.
And it was funny because I just had the worst day, and I get there and I was like, man, I didn't know that I was going to hug all these guys when I got here. I forgot that. And they were all so excited to see me, like each individually.
Right.
We have our own little relationship. And
sure.
I'd forgot that all these guys cared about me. And I forgot that I cared about them. Like, it's just like
the camaraderie.
Yeah. And unless I the half-life or the residual effect of care, it doesn't, the shelf life isn't long inside of me for some long. It's really, it's almost like the shelves are at an angle. And when somebody puts care on them, they just slide. And I don't know why. I think it was just the way the shelves were built or something, but it was just crazy because next thing you know, it was like the best moment of my day. Right. And all these guys, I was like, man, I always feel like nobody cares, but these guys care. They all care. And I care about them. And I just it doesn't stick to my ribs like I wish it would a lot of times. So that's why I think some people are like, man, you chase your tail a lot. It's like, because I forget that the tail is there. I forget how it grew.
Sometimes the tail's wagging the dog. Yeah. Right.
Oh, it's like, I don't know. It's just, it's all fascinating, man. The program is pretty fascinating, recovery.
It works.
So take us a little bit more. So you have that experience with your brother kind of, and then you get into it, and then you're playing at Michigan State then?
Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could. Watch this one, or watch this one. Watch this one, watch this one, watch this one. Ah!